Hi guys, my name's Grace. I'm back with another video. ITZY's back. Yes, yes, yes. Cake. Cake. I've watched the music video, but I haven't watched, I don't know if they've actually performed on music shows yet or anything, but I haven't watched that, and I'm here to watch the performance video, I think it is. Like the dance performance video. Yeah, I want to see the dance. So the thing about ITZY is that fourth gen leaders, I know that's a debated topic right now, but nobody can deny that they were pretty much in my opinion, this is not very debatable, they were like the first big fourth gen girl group. Like, yeah, there were people around at there were like other dancers, jeez, there were other idols around, other groups around at the time, but like I think G-Idol was really the only like fourth gen group that debuted before them, and G-Idol was not nearly as big as they are now, not nearly as monumental, and like ITZY had no competition. They were just steamrolling everybody. But then we saw specifically ITZY debuted, and you know, ITZY for a couple of years had Tight Chokehold, and now we've got IVE, New Jeans, LE SSERAFIM. So the fourth gen girl group landscape kind of evened out a little bit, and I think I'm not a MIDZY per se, but you know, I'm an ITZY fan, and I root for them so hard because I really like what they stand for. I never really liked their songs per se, but I really liked their, like, you know, you do you, I do me concept, like just let me be myself. And I think it was a really cool concept for like young girls at the time, because that was not always the case for concepts in K-pop, especially for girl groups. And I really like what especially Ryujin, the member Ryujin, had to say a lot about like how people compare female and male K-pop groups. I think, long story short, I just really admire ITZY, even though I'm not necessarily like a fan of their music and of them, but I am a fan of their dancing because they are hands down, they have some of the best choreography, especially their earlier stuff. They have some of the best choreography and some of the most technically difficult choreography for K-pop, especially girl groups. All right, so this is the official performance video uploaded by ITZY's YouTube channel. Let's go. Oh my god, look at how long Yuna's hair is. Beautiful. But anyways, let's go. Immediately, something that's always I've seen always present in ITZY's choreography is that they take a lot more hip-hop influence than a lot of other girl groups. In general, it's not necessarily correct or anything, but hip-hop tends to be perceived as a more male dance style, and it aligns more with like traditional male like essence, like a lot more bravado, but ITZY has consistently used influences from like popping and locking, groove, stuff like that. I'm not trained in hip-hop, but I know some things, not a lot of things, but specifically Ryujin exemplifies like hip-hop technique very well, and ITZY, for a girl group, K-pop dance does include a lot of hip-hop influence. I would argue that K-pop dance is kind of its own style. It's in the commercial realm, where it's a big blend of a bunch of different styles, but a lot of female K-pop groups lean more towards contemporary or jazz style, but ITZY specifically goes more the route that a lot of boy groups go and include a lot of hip hop or street style technique. Ryujin, she is one of my favorites. I know people would have killed me if I talked over that part. That's everyone's favorite part right now. But Ryujin is hands down one of my favorite K-pop dancers. Her technique is crazy, and I think she also blends performance with technique, because you can have really, really good technique and be not a great performer, and you could be a fabulous performer and have not great technique. But she does both and combines both really well, and I think what makes her stand out to me across specifically girl group dancers and even in ITZY is that her technique lies in hip-hop technique, and you can see it when she dances even next to the other ITZY members. Like, yes, they're all great dancers, but Ryujin has a different quality about it. She influences a lot more popping and locking and isolations. Where Chaeyoung and Yeji incorporate more flowy movements, and where there's a little more full-bodiedness as opposed to isolations. Ryujin isolates parts of her body and makes them move separately, where Chaeyoung, is she Chaeyoung or Chaeyoung? I always forget. She's got a sister, and they both have those names, and I can never remember which one's which. But Yeji and Chaeyoung, I think she has the R, incorporate much more flowy technique, which you see in like contemporary dance. Ooh, that choreography, the two duos on the side. Incorporating a little bit of Africanist influence. Africanist meaning it could stem anywhere from African dances or African American dance styles. There are different value systems placed on different styles of movement or different body parts depending on which kind of lineage of dance you focus on. So if you're in an Africanist technique, you get much lower to the ground, and you isolate your hips a lot more, and it's the history of it being perceived as like sexual, very problematic. Basically, white people just came in and ruined the perception of African styles of dance. But you know, leading with your hips or leading with your butt, it's not necessarily provocative, and it should not be perceived as provocative. But you'll find that in different dance styles, like the emphasis is placed on different parts of the body. And in Africanist movement, sometimes, a lot of the times, it's the butte or hip region. Bend your knees a lot. just want to look. Yeah, you see how, well, Yeji and Ryujin are in the front, so you can see them better. But if you compare specifically Ryujin to Leah, you can see that Ryujin is much more precise in placing only her heel on the ground for the cake part, where Leah places her whole foot on the ground. Just showing that she's very, very exact. And you see Yeji and Chaeryeong compared to Ryujin on that little wave through the body, that little undulation, much more flowy than Ryujin, which is a little more stiff, not necessarily stiff in a bad sense. Leah's got a lot of lines. Ooh, the crown. ITZY. Aw. I will say ITZY has gotten... Oh. Is there an ad for me? Stop. ITZY has gotten a lot of unwarranted hate in the past couple of years, and I think one of the criticisms is that they were known for like pretty intensely technical dances and harder dances, and then they kind of calmed down the difficulty of their dances, and I think that made, I don't know why that rubbed people the wrong way, but it did. I think it's because people knew ITZY as this like real showcase of dance technique and kind of raised the bar for like where female dancing was in K-pop. Not saying that there was no one before ITZY, no female dancers in K-pop before ITZY that were like very highly skilled, just that ITZY was kind of the front runner and the flagship of 4th gen girl groups. But a criticism they got is that their difficulty decreased over time, and I think you can generally see that with Cake, where there is technique involved, but it's less like intensive technique, where if you think about Wannabe, it's a lot more full-bodied isolations and full-bodied popping and locking, whereas Cake is you know, pretty upright, and it's longer intervals between intensive dancing. But not necessarily a bad thing. We see groups evolutions all the time. So yeah, let me know what you thought of the song and the dance for ITZY's Cake in the comment section down below. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.